Welcome back. Let's cross over now to the FMDQ FX market for an update on Naira dollar trade today. Femi Akinyemi, FX dealer with Access Bank, joins me now. Good afternoon, Femi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So, is the Naira dollar trade today looking good?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Is the Naira trade today looking good?
We can say it's another good day in the FX market. The CBN has continued to support the market. So far, they've sold a total of about 1.8 billion in forwards and about $300 million to settle specific invisible transactions. Today, they also floated an auction, that's a retail SMIS, where specific sectors, that's manufacturing, raw materials, airlines, of those sectors, pending outstanding obligations are targeted to be settled. So basically what we've seen so far is continuous or continued intervention by the CBN to bring some life into the market and reduce the level of outstanding obligations in the market.
Now, this continuous intervention by the central bank, is it really achieving the desired goal? Because there seem to be a lot of complaints out there.
There seem to be a lot of what?
Complaints out there.
Well, I think so far it is. It is. The question is how long would the CBN continue to sustain? But as it is, the CBN has shown that they have the capacity to keep supporting the market for as long as they want to. And we've seen that even in the parallel market, even though it's been stable around 385, 390, but we expect that if this intervention by the CBN continues and also the economy bounces out of recession, we'll begin to see the Naira appreciate more. So as low as 300 levels, and then probably should remain stable at that point.
So at what level are we likely to see it close today?
Well, the parallel market, we should still see it stay around same level, 385, 390. But like I said, going forward, we expect that the Naira will appreciate, Naira will be more stable. And as it is, we believe that the CBN has enough strength to continue to support the market.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Femi. In Egypt, of course, the citizens there seem to be hungry and angry as currency plunge sends food prices soaring. Low-income Egyptians say food has become unaffordable after inflation soared following the flotation of the currency.
At a food market in Cairo, 70-year-old Mahmoud Abdul Hassan tries to work out how he can feed his family of 5. Food prices have risen by more than 40% over the last year, and that's according to official data, as the Egyptian pound to plunge, forcing inflation up. While that policy helped Egypt clinch a $12 billion 3-year loan from the International Monetary Fund, its effects have hurt normal Egyptians, particularly the poorest.
One day we eat, and one day we don't. Every day is sick of it. I wish they would feed us.
Further into the market, Baka, a widowed mother of 4 who works as a school janitor, could barely contain her fury at the government, which says it is rebuilding an economy shaken by years of turmoil since the uprising that toppled President Hosni Mubarak in 2011.
They said to us, vote, vote, vote. And now what? This is not working at all. It's very unfair. What should I do? Should I sell one of my children? If they'll buy him from me, great. I wish I could escape this despair.
Dina Bekhit, a food security specialist at Egypt's official statistics agency, CAPMAS, acknowledged the problem.
If we base our projections for the 2016-2030 period on how things are today, I can tell you it's not looking very reassuring. Not in a way that calls for panic, but we have problems that we need to be solved.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has assured low-income Egyptians that they will be protected from the impact of subsidy cuts intended to narrow the budget deficit. But poor Egyptians, struck by hikes in fuel, electricity and transport prices, say they feel forgotten. The market traders are no happier than the shoppers.
I saw a man eating from the garbage and he was crying. This is not fair. A kilo of potatoes is 6 to 7 pounds. This is not fair. When I tell a customer it's 5 pounds, they get shocked and run away. They take half of a kilo or quarter. That's it.
Last month, a change to bread subsidies that left some Egyptians temporarily without their rations led to minor protests across the country, something that opposition politicians say shows discontent could simmer over and bring unrest back to Egypt's streets.
Wage hikes in East Asia have begun to shift low-end manufacturing to Africa, and countries such as Senegal are vying for the millions of jobs that China is expected to shed. Let's watch this.
4 new factory buildings rise up outside Senegal's capital, the first phase of a government plan to woo Chinese companies increasingly shifting low-end production to Africa as wages in East Asia rise. African countries are vying for the millions of manufacturing jobs that China is expected to shed. So far, Ethiopia is ahead of the competition with a fledgling show and garment-making sector that has made it one of Africa's rising economic stars. And now, Senegal, a country with a tiny manufacturing base in main exports, including fish and peanuts, hopes to replicate that success with a new industrial park and a deal with a Chinese businesswoman. The 85 billion CFA franc project in the town of Diminado is the country's attempt to boost a manufacturing sector that has languished for decades and is poised to be one of the first cases of Chinese industry spreading from East Africa to the French-speaking West.
Of course, with China's experience, we know that today there is a saturation of industrial production in China. But above all, there is also an increase in the workforce. And even the Chinese, just as the Europeans did, are today emigrating, going elsewhere. That is why Africa, which is still a virgin industry, so to speak, when it comes to manufacturing, is something that attracts Chinese investors.
Senegal's stable democracy and Atlantic Ocean port make it a natural candidate for export-based industry, but it ranks 147 out of 190 countries on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index due to the problems with electricity access and bureaucracy.
And with that, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Timothy Obi. Welcome.